equal housing lender.
Well, Ann Eisenman joins me in studio. We're going to be talking about B-rrry Scurry. It'll be coming up February 5th. Now, of course, I ran B-rrry Scurry for years when I was much younger. And I can recall we've had days when it was 60, and we've had days when it was like 60 below with a terrible wind chill. What about this year, Ann?
I'm anticipating, I'm guessing 49, 50 degrees, light wind, not from the west, sunshine, happy people. Chili, we're going to provide chili after the race this year. I can guarantee that. That's the only thing I can guarantee for you.
All right.
Gary, for having me. And as you were coming out of the commercial, your giggle and excitement about our Metallica scholarships at Clinton Community College. Someday we'll talk about that because we have some very generous donors that contribute to our scholarship program at Clinton Community College, including the Metallica band.
Amazing.
And so we can talk about that someday.
Yes.
Yes. And if anybody wants to know more information, it's for students in our engineering technology program. And we're going to have some events coming up in the next few weeks about that scholarship. So they can call me at the college. I'd be happy to share more information. But the B-rrry Scurry is also a scholarship program. And as you know, in 1981 was our first B-rrry Scurry. And it was put together by a group of folks, including like Mark Schrader and Alan Campbell and Roger Burgess and people like that. And they put together this program so that we would have scholarships for students. And it's been going ever since. You know, we've had the 5. We run them both.
Right.
And then now we have the 4-mile run. And that's been for quite a few years now. We're excited about it. You know, we've had to adapt because of the coronavirus pandemic, but safety is our number one factor. People ask every year, why don't you run along the riverfront? And again, safety is our number one factor. We've had people that climbed over and under trains. So we will not ever be going back to the riverfront again. So because of the train tracks. So I'll just put that out there, you know, first. But safety is our factor, but also raising funds for our students. So we do have our out and back route. It's 4 miles totally, 2 miles out, 2 miles back. We have a nice flat route. The city of Clinton does a fabulous job of keeping it very clear, and we have police on the course. We have 100 volunteers that help us out each year on race day so that we can have a safe course for our runners and walkers. So that's our number one priority is safety. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, we're going to have to make some adjustments. You know, last year we limited it to 40 runners, and people were not happy about the choice of running virtual. Some people were, the people that, you know, are in California or New York or wherever, but our folks here in town really didn't want to have that option. So I'm really happy to say that we can have all of our folks run this year on a site. However, because of we do follow CDC guidelines, the college building itself will be closed that day. And so I'm encouraging people to show up at about 10 till 12 on Saturday, February 5th, and line up and do the run. We'll start it at noon when we'll have chip timing and all of those things. When we're done, we're going to have our treats will be out in our heated garage, so there will be a space for people to get warm treats and things like that. And again, chili, we're going to have chili this year because we want something that'll warm people from the inside out. But we're not going to have a long event and awards ceremony in the college. We cannot gather a large number of people in the college. In fact, our auditorium at this point in time can only fit 24 people. So we can't have hundreds of people in the college that day.
I would imagine pre-registration then is going to be required.
Pre-registration, and the other thing we're going to have is, because we want a good experience for our participants. So last year we learned some great things last year. And one thing is packet pickup will be during the week. We're going to do drive-by packet pickup, which is convenient for people. We're going to do that on Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. I believe the time is from 3:30 to 5:30 or like in that time period. And then on Friday, we're going to do it from noon to 2.
Now, will that be in front of the college?
It'll be right in front of the college. So people can just drive up. We'll have people out there with a walkie-talkie. You know, what's your race number? We'll grab the bags. You don't have to get out of your car. And so we had very positive response to that last year. So somebody can pick up 5 bags for with them and their friends. So have to sign off on that. But then they don't have to drag the kids out of the car and do all that kind of thing. Now, it takes away some of the camaraderie that we have of being in the college and all of our great wave and things like that. But because of the pandemic, we have to do it that way this year. So that's one of the changes that we're going to have. So I'm just encouraging people to do their potty break prior to coming to the college on race day. We will have 3 porta potties, but I can guarantee they will be cold. And so, so that's people's choice of how they want to do that. There's plenty of restrooms nearby before they come and run. But there will not be people going into the college after the race. But we will have our heated garage with treats out there, and so we're just going to encourage people then to get their treats. What's really great is that in our goodie bags we will have a beverage chip. People love beverage chips because where there's a beverage chip, there's typically a beverage and a party, and
they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. And Connor Lee is the new owner of Legends, and he is hosting an event out there. They will have music, and you can use your beverage chip at Legends Sports Bar after the B-rrry Scurry race. So he's going to have an event out there for people because we've had a traditional, really great event. We're not having buckets of beer and things like that out there. Again, people will have a beverage chip. You can buy a soft drink. You can buy a golden beverage. You can get whatever you want with your beverage chip. But that's going to a fun event afterwards.
Again, visiting with Ann Eisenman, Clinton Community College's 41st annual B-rrry Scurry coming up on February 5th. You mentioned Legends. I know you've got some other great sponsors. Why don't you go ahead and recognize some of those?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, of course, thanks to KROS. You guys have been great sponsors through this. We appreciate all that you do. And Clinton Community College, they are our host sponsor. But we also have other sponsors such as Abstract and Title Guarantee Company, Clinton National Bank, Accenture Credit Union, Swiss Colony, Culligan Water, Sterling Bank. We have our Clinton Community College Student Senate. We have First Gateway Credit Union, Clinton Engineering. They provide our starting for us. We have Citizens First Bank, RHA, which is where Jim Tyne, one of our founders of the race, Keith and Company, and Hy-Vee. And then I also want to mention our friends, Chris Streets, and our friends over at the other radio station. And the Clinton Herald does a great job for us. And we have a new sponsor this year, ServPro. And for anyone who's ever had an issue with a pipe bursting on a weekend at their place of business, we highly recommend ServPro as an organization to come clean up. They do a great job. So welcome to ServPro as a new sponsor.
Got a couple more minutes with you. We appreciate you coming in. As you talked about, there are some changes, of course. You are a national runner, soon to be an international runner. And you were saying that you have run into some of this.
Right. So I ran both Boston and New York City marathons this last fall, and both had to adjust because of the pandemic. Boston was moved to October because of the pandemic, which was the only time they've ever done that. So I feel blessed to have qualified and had that experience. It was a rolling start. You showed up at the start. They had about 200 porta potties. You used the porta potty, and then you just showed up and started your run. You are all chip timed as we are. So that's just how it happened with the Boston Marathon. Masks were required before you started the race and after the race. So if the Boston Marathon can do that, we can make those adjustments. I also ran the New York City Marathon, and that was very similar. There were waves, and they took you had to get to the starting point, which was over in Staten Island. But there were waves, and I think there were like 8 waves throughout the morning. When the women were finishing the race and our Molly Saito was finishing, that was right the moment I was starting the run, her 2 hours and 20 some minutes later. So people have to do that. We have to adjust if we want to participate. I just want people to remember the purpose for this is scholarships for our Clinton Community College students, and they're so deserving of these awards. We've had more than $100,000 of students of scholarships awarded to students through the years, and for every dollar that is awarded to these students, they're most appreciative and they're very deserving of that. So every dollar matters, every runner matters. We hope people come out and enjoy the B-rrry Scurry.
I know all of our children. I am a product of a community college. I know what a benefit it is to have such a facility in your community.
It's so important.
So if people want to register, find out more information, where can they go? What's the website?
Please visit us online at eicc.edu/B-rrry, or they can call the college. We've got some paper copies. If they want to come in and write a check, we can do that. We're just not doing any of that on race morning. morning. They need to have registered by Friday, February 4th, or else they're not going to get into the B-rrry Scurry this year. We just need to do that for safety protocol for all.
And thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Gary.
Chris Strelli's restaurant in the Lyons neighborhood, Clinton, is currently closed for